Welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn, and this is the February reading for Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. In honor of Aquarius season, I will be using the Star Tarot spread for the readings this month. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for post notifications. And the first card that came out is in the position of the present, and that is being indicated here by Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is basically talking about moving away from something, right? This could mean leaving a job, leaving a relationship, moving from the space that you're in, or just moving away from a situation, whatever it might be, that has brought you a lot of sadness and sorrow. This could be in relationship to the symbol of the moon that is in the upper left-hand corner of this card. The moon is usually an indication of something that is being revealed to you, whether it is something, a message that comes into you, or something that you're told, something that you find out, something that you dream about, something that you intuitively feel. It's basically just a revelation of something that has been hidden. And so as a result of that revelation, you find yourself in the position of moving away from something. This could be something physical, like I said, a space, a house, a job, a relationship. But it could also be navigating into a different aspect of your life where now that you realize like the implication of something, you've decided that you want to move forward and let that go. In the depiction of the Eight of Cups, though there are 8 cups, the way that the cups are set up, it looks like there's a cup missing. And that is an indication that the reason why you're moving away is due to the feeling that something is missing. And so this card is in the upright for this month. It means that it's something that is going to be happening this month for you, or in subsequent months, but it's like a process, right? So the revelation will happen, and then you're going to subsequently be moving away from something. For some of you, it could be something that has already happened, but due to like the residual nature of the feelings that you have about the situation, it's like you're still dealing with it. And like I said earlier, it could be that you're moving away from those feelings. I'm using the Grand Tableau Lenormand deck to do clarifications. And the cards that came out is the card 22 for Crossroad. And then the card that came out next to it is the 17 for Stork. And so when we see the Crossroad card, it's an opportunity for change, right? But it really is talking about choices. In this card, there are 2 roads, and ultimately, you have to make a choice about which road you're going to travel down. And the road that you do not choose is now closed to you, right? So this could mean potentially traveling. It could mean, moving away from someone, separation, breaking up from someone. But it's also ultimately about a decision, a major decision that you're going to have to make, because once you make it, the other path is closed off to you, and you're going to have to go down this path that you've chosen, right? And so in conjunction with the Stork card, which is a card that is talking about freedom and again, choice. This is basically you rediscovering yourself, making a choice and choosing yourself, and moving away from anything that doesn't necessarily serve that goal for you. So it's again, like I said, that this person has choose to walk away from anything that is hurtful to them, has hurt them in the past, continues to hurt them, and has made a choice to choose themselves. In the position of your emotions, it's being represented here by the King of Cups in reverse. And so when the King of Cups in reverse, it's a person that is basically kind of in a space where they're maybe feeling a little bit sorry for themselves, right? I feel like you're focused on the way that you feel about things. You're really kind of in your head about things that have happened to you. But really, this is a sign, because the card is in the reverse, is really trying to get a stronger hold on your emotion, like you and your emotional well-being. I feel like when this card is in the reverse, it's really talking about someone who is easy to get upset, going through like a lot of personal dramas in their life, being triggered really easily, getting very angry, throwing like emotional tantrums. I'm sorry about that. Also, feeling moody, maybe a little bit depressed, a little anxious, and just really kind of like on a hairpin trigger, right? So anything can potentially set you off. For some of you, this is you. This is your emotions. But for another set of you, this is the type of person that you might have been walking away from, or making a choice to walk towards. And so you want to be mindful, if this is not your energy, that you're not walking to someone who handles things like the King of Cups would handle these things, right? Especially if you are moving away from a cycle or something that is similar in your past, and you're trying to kind of like choose yourself and move forward from that. You don't want to end up with someone who is like emotionally manipulative, who's just like very emotional and like blows up for nothing. But for a large part of you, I do feel like this is your energy. Like you're in a space where you're just really, kind of in your head about a lot of things. Now, King of Cups in the reverse energy is someone, like I said, who could be moody and depressed and, whatever. But this could also be someone who is angry, who's like vindictive. Like I said, being emotionally manipulative, using emotional blackmail to get what they want. Or just being overly emotionally unstable. And when you are in that space, I feel like you don't realize that there's something that's happening in your past that has caused you or brought you to this place, right? And so ultimately, there's some work that needs to get done in order to be a true King of Cups in the upright, where you have agency over your emotions, and that you control your emotions, or you manage your emotions in a way that's better than making or allowing your emotions to manage you. In the position of your beliefs, the Queen of Wands in reverse is showing up. And so the Queen of Wands in the upright is someone who can tend to be like, who likes to be like the center of attention, who's like a social butterfly. They might be a little bit self-centered, but I feel like in the reverse, you are not those things, right? You used to be a social butterfly, and so now you kind of prefer to kind of like fall back. You might not necessarily want everything to be about you. I feel like you used to be really super confident, and you might be kind of struggling with your confidence. Like I said, this could come from the residual effects of, whatever happened with you, what you moved away from, kind of still lingering with you. And so I do feel like there is a need to really focus on like your energy level, work on focusing on rebuilding yourself, rebuilding your confidence, really stepping back into your power. Working on honing like your personal skills, your talents, and really just getting in touch with all the things that make you the best version of yourself, and really taking the time to rediscover that. So I do feel like it might be a time to kind of like separate yourself from people and really focus on yourself if you haven't already done so, or if you're not already in the process of that. So for some of you, when I look at the cards, I do see that there is this energy of the Queen of Wands and also the King of Cups. And so the way that they're laid out in this particular spread, if you are not the person that has walked away, I feel like there is a sense that some people might be in a position to have to make a decision between these two individuals, ultimately moving towards the King of Cups energy. But again, these energies could be also a factor to you. Like these could be not necessarily archetypes of an individual per se, but just characteristics that you're actually walking around with. And so it kind of feels like a little bit of a fluctuating energy. And so that could be attached to whatever sadness you might still feel about moving away from a situation that you might not have wanted to leave, but felt like you didn't have a choice because something was missing. That could have affected your confidence level, but it could also put you in a place of, like I said, feeling moody, feeling detached, and feeling like you don't really have control over the way that you feel or over your life in general. And you're just kind of like moving away from things that hurt you because you don't have a choice, right? The card that comes up for the heart of the matter, which is basically like the signifying point of this reading, is being represented here by the Hermit card. The Hermit card is a representation of a Virgo energy. It really is about kind of like separating yourself and kind of taking the time to really be introspective and to really think about the situations that you're going through, and what's led you to the place that you're at, looking inside for inner guidance about where to go next, what steps to take. And so ultimately it's that energy that is affiliated with, like, how people on the internet put up like signs when they say that they're doing like their spiritual work, right? So it's like you're separating yourself from everyone. You're doing the internal work for yourself to kind of like figure out your own internal issues and trying to realign yourself with the highest parts of yourself and the greatest aspects within yourself. It's really like ultimately doing like a huge major soul search mission, right? The Hermit and also like Virgo energy is really kind of attuned towards figuring out the next steps in your life, even when you feel like you really don't know where you want to go. You might not know everything now, but taking the time to kind of like sit and really think it through and try to figure out what can be done to be the best and highest version of yourself, and be an authority in your own life, is something that needs to happen. And so because that is at the center of the reading, it's like the issue, all the issues surrounding this reading all point back to the aspect of really kind of taking the time to purposely step away from the crowd, step away from the group, and really take time to focus on you, your own internal healing, fixing the things that are broken, with, literally, figuratively, spiritually, all the things, and really just reevaluating where you are, where you want to go, and kind of doing a little bit of cleanup to remove the things or remove the people or remove the situations out of your life that don't necessarily align with your ultimate mission and your ultimate goal. Virgo is a really critical energy. It's really about looking at everything and paying attention to all the little details, but you do want to make sure that you don't overly criticize yourself for mistakes that have happened in your past that you have no control over. You kind of want to stay away from that. You really just want to do like an overall evaluation, and just kind of say to yourself, like, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. And these are the things that I need to do to get there, and kind of plan that out for yourself. Don't beat yourself up about things that you have no control over that have already happened. I mean, that's not going to serve you at all, right? I wanted to go back and look at the King of Cups in reverse again, because again, this is based on your emotions. And so the cards that came out is the Clover card and also the Tree. And the Clover card is talking about lightheartedness, right? So ultimately, I feel like this is advice for you, is to kind of like be a little bit lighthearted with certain things. Try to look at a situation that might occur with a lighthearted point of view, instead of allowing it, like I said, to make you get upset and to kind of like throw you off, and to put you like, in a mood, right? So trying to look at the funny aspects of a situation and trying to make light of it and make a joke out of it instead of like, getting upset about it is really the advice for this card. And it's just, not, it's just kind of advice to not take things so seriously, to make a joke about it. And the tree is talking about, recovering from illness, right? Some of you might be affected, your health might be affected because of the way that you're feeling, or you could be feeling the way that you feel. Your moods are affected because of your health. And so that is an aspect of it too. So overall, kind of like being lighthearted and trying to make fun of a situation and just try to look at the lighter aspect of something will help ease your mood, but could also potentially help you with your health issues. Looking at the Hermit card again, this is, like I said, is the center of the issue, right? I pulled some clarifiers for that, and the cards that came out was the Moon card, the House card, and the Whip card. So whenever I see the Moon card, I automatically associate it to secrets coming out that are revealed. When something isn't out in the light of day, it comes out at night. And so this is really talking about, in conjunction with the other cards, it's talking about hidden and repressed emotions and feelings that you might have, or even repressed desires that you might have. This is like what's kind of like at the heart of your emotional kind of like your emotional imbalance. There is an attachment here to the Whip card, because the Whip card is basically talking about kind of, how do I say this? It's associated to shame, right? And it's associated to conflict between what you fear and what you need, right? And this fear is rooted in your house. So the House card is here. So this is attached to your family or your house or where you reside. And so some of you might be having some sort of secret fear or shame attached to whatever relationship that you share with someone in the house that you live in. So it could be a partner, it could be like your children, your family, but it seems like you're hiding something in the way of how you feel about your living situation, or the dynamic of your living situation, that you're kind of not revealing to anyone. And that ultimately is leading to you, kind of messing with your emotions, right? Because the reason why you're moody and you're upset and you're, whatever, you're lashing out, is because there's something there that you're repressing, and there's something there that you're not revealing that you feel. And so this goes back to, there's like a conflict within you about, whatever it is that you do fear, and something that you need, or you might feel shame about the things that you are afraid of and the things that you need. This could also be showing up in the way that you are kind of falling back with the Queen of Wands in reverse and also the Hermit card. Some of you might be kind of falling back due to the shame that you feel and not wanting to kind of be the center of attention anymore because of this issue that you are, covering up. So in asking the cards for more clarification, the question is, what do you fear and what do you need? And what came out is the 10 of Swords in reverse as the fear. And so ultimately, this is a fear of being hurt in the worst kind of way, of feeling like you've been stabbed in the back, by feeling that you trust someone and they let you down. And I feel like that is the thing that keeps you handicapped, is the fear of being hurt by someone that you love and care about, someone that you live with, someone that's in your family, who ultimately you feel like has a role, has a you feel like you should be protected and covered by this person, and so being hurt by that person is like the most is like the it's like the worst thing that you can ever endure. And it seems like that might have been what you walked away from, and so as a result of that, like, your fear is to go through that again, is to put yourself in that vulnerable position and to ultimately be hurt again. So what is it that you need? The Nine of Pentacles, the Death card, the Page of Swords, the Hermit card came out again, and the Star. So ultimately what you need is, you need to be okay. You need to be, you want some nice things in your life. Like, you want to be taken care of. You want to be loved. But there's also the thing of feeling hopeful about a situation and hoping that it works out. I feel like you want that more than you are willing to admit openly. But also ultimately there is a sense that with the Death card here, that fear that you have is blocking you from living in something that might be good, or accepting something that might be good, because you fear it, you push it away with, like the emotional tantrums and the emotional outburst, and getting into arguments with someone that's unnecessary, when you can really take like a lighthearted approach about it and kind of joke it off, or turn it into like a joke instead of like getting so upset about it, because ultimately I feel like you're creating the thing that you fear the most with your reactions, if that makes sense. In the position of the unconscious, that is the thing that is hidden, and the thing that will surface is being represented here by the Knight of Cups. And so I feel like, the Knight of Cups is really just like a really dreamy type energy, someone that is, creative and romantic and charming, and, likes things that are beautiful. And so upright, that's great. But in the reverse, I feel like the Knight of Cups has like a really overactive imagination, really kind of just making things bigger than what they seem, or telling yourself stories in your head about what's happening that might not necessarily be true. They're a little bit unrealistic, they're jealous, and again, they're moody, right? Like when you see a water sign in the reverse, or a cups suit in the reverse, it's really talking a lot about the emotions, and the emotions being unbalanced, right? So when the Knight of Cups is in the reverse, we're ultimately talking about kind of being unrealistic about relationships, or like the dynamic within a relationship, where you kind of like you're more focused on the dream as opposed to like the reality, right? So, and because you're so, you have these dreams about the way that things should be, or the way that they should look, or the way that it should go, it's like you're not really dealing with the reality of the situation. And so you're kind of putting yourself like in this tailspin of just being kind of disillusioned about what is being offered to you, because it doesn't really meet your expectations of what it should be. And this could actually lead back to, like I said, the clarification for the Hermit card, which is talking about feeling a little bit of shame, right? So it could actually lead back to that. So you want to make sure that when you make decisions, because like I said, this is something that is in the subconscious that is going to come out. Ultimately, if you're doing this, or if you're acting in this way, this is not something that can stay hidden for long, right? So ultimately, this is a conversation that needs to happen, or it needs to be something that you sit with and try to really figure out how to be pragmatic and really be grounded. And whatever the situation is, you might want to consider talking to someone to get like an outside perspective that is neutral and that is not clouded by the emotion of the situation, right? So that is what's coming out for the subconscious. So looking at how you subconsciously feel, is something that you should look at. Like, I feel like you're not really looking at the real issue, but you're looking at the outcome of the issue and not realizing that there's something a little bit deeper that is kind of sitting there. And I feel like, again, like I said, that's where the Hermit card comes in, because the Hermit will really kind of seclude themselves and really try to figure out or think through what is going on, the cause and effect, and really try to find a way to align with doing things in a way that would give you a better outcome. In the position of hopes and dreams, the card that came out is the Nine of Swords. And so the Nine of Swords in reverse is really talking about like inner issues, right? Like inner turmoil. It's talking about worry and being stressed out. It could also be talking about secrets, like secrets coming out. And like fears. Like, so again, you really have to kind of ask yourself, what is it that you're fearing? Like, what is your deepest fear? Because ultimately with the original card that came out, which was the Eight of Cups, it's really talking about a decision. And so if you have to make a decision and there's a decision pressing, looking at where each road or what each choice or where that choice will take you is ultimately kind of like what's on the table. And so if you are fearful of a choice, a specific choice, why are you afraid of that choice? And I feel like this is kind of like what you need to really sit with, because the Nine of Swords is really talking about like your overactive mind. The Swords is about the mind, right? So this is about overactive mind that's leading you to have a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, really like you can't sleep, like you're up at night, or you're just having like bad dreams, and so this is something that you're experiencing. This is worry that you're experiencing in your head. And the thing to worry about the most with the Nine of Swords is that sometimes when you think about these things and you really just like think that things are happening, or you are really kind of looking at things from a very narrow perspective, or you're creating scenarios in your head, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because it's like you worry about it so much and you're thinking it's happening. You create that situation that you fear the most. Obsessing about, what could potentially go wrong. Like you can think that your partner is cheating on you and he's not cheating on you, but eventually because of like, all the arguing and the stress and, the moodiness and the jealousy and all the things, it eventually pushes him to feel disconnected from you, and could potentially end the relationship and have him go somewhere else to start something new, right? So when you're repeating negative thoughts in your mind, you actually run the chance that you might create those negative things in your life, right? So the Nine of Swords is asking you to really break the cycle of this. Like I said, it's probably a suggestion for you to go and sit with someone, to sit with a counselor, to kind of like talk about the things that you're thinking, and really kind of like lay them out and try to figure out what is the best step and what is the best way to navigate, especially if you have a choice that needs to be made. So the final outcome card is being represented here by the Page of Swords, right? And so the Page of Swords in reverse is really talking about having a plan, right? It's about taking the actions, the necessary actions, the right actions that you need to take. Because in the reverse, the page is really just kind of like rushing into something or rushing into a decision without really thinking it out, or just kind of like verbally just saying the things that they're going to do, but then they don't actually do them, right? The page is all in reverse is also about really just not speaking your truth, right? And not really expressing the way that you really feel about something. And like ultimately, like I said, it does seem like there are some things that that you're kind of holding back on expressing, that needs to be expressed in order to kind of like clear the air and kind of like help you with your feelings of being imbalanced. But again, if this is something that you're kind of like projecting out, I feel like I said with the Hermit card showing up, that this really is a time to really think about like what it is that you're thinking and does it match up with what is actually happening in your life, but also just really just being honest about the things that you fear, and really speaking your truth to the people that matter in your life, right? Especially with the house card, if these are people that you live with, these are the people that you should be having these conversations with, these open, honest conversations with, because if you want, someone to kind of alleviate your fear about something, the best thing to do is to talk to them about it. But it has to be something that eventually comes to the end. The death card did come up. So this is really talking about letting go of something, letting go of the past, letting go of the things that have hurt you in the past, and moving forward from that, and not thinking that you're going to always be experiencing those negative things over and over and over again. And then ultimately creating that similar negative situation or a different negative situation, because of you still holding on to the past. Like, you have to move forward and you have to let it go, and you have to speak your truth. But the thing that you have to do is be honest with yourself first. And so I feel like you do need to take the time to really sit down and kind of like figure out where you are emotionally, what's going on in your head, and really come to a conclusion about what needs to happen. So, and what path you need to take. And ultimately, like I said in the beginning of this reading, is to pick the path that best serves you and to always pick yourself. So this is the end of the reading. Please comment below and let me know if any of this resonates with you. Like the video, and again, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for post notifications. Also, please come over and follow me on my socials, and I will see you soon, guys.